Now, your Fox 44 forecast first.
Good evening, everybody. Here we have a live look outside at our regional temperatures. As you can see, we're pretty hot outside. Low to mid 90s. We're at 91 at Waco, 94 in Dallas-Fort Worth, and 94 in College Station. Here's your forecast first. So we'll start off midnight, mostly clear, 85 degrees. Then we cool down a little bit at 6 a.m. to 79 degrees. Throughout the night and into the morning, we're clear throughout the area. Then when we wake up the next morning, mostly sunny, 80 degrees. We have rain coming up chances and that heat that we had today. Fox 44 News starts right now.
Straight ahead on Fox 44 News, a college football matchup over a century old is coming to an end today. How Baylor fans feel about it. And just over a week into the auto workers' strike against Detroit's Big Three, walkouts have already had a massive economic impact with no end in sight. Also, calls from both sides of the aisle growing louder for embattled New Jersey Senator Bob Menendez to resign his Senate seat.
Live from Waco, Temple, and Killeen, your news now. This is Fox 44 News at 9.
Good evening and thanks for joining us on Fox 44 News at 9. I'm PJ Hessner. A college football matchup over a century old is coming to an end today right here in Waco. Fox 44's Hannah Hoover tells us how alumni feel about it.
It's been 113 years of Baylor versus Texas college football matchups, and now that's all coming to an end now that Texas is joining the SEC next year. So I caught up with some Baylor fans to hear their thoughts about the end of an era.
I'm sad to see them go, but I'm hoping to see them go in a losing fashion.
Tonight is the first Big 12 game in the Longhorns' final season in the league, and it is the last game in a rivalry that has stood the test of time.
This is one of the longest rivalries in football in general, and in fact, the classic Horns Down was invented by a Baylor student, so it's just really sad to see that go.
Baylor takes on Texas, who is the number 3 ranked team in college football, but fans have hope the Bears can close out history on a positive note.
I think that Alabama game was their national championship game for them. I think that the rest of their games are shaky, and our offenses come into the season, they're growing game by game, and so I feel confident in our players.
While Texas historically has the upper hand, fans reminisce on the first time Baylor won a Big 12 title, taking the win against Texas in 2013.
I mean, they're only an hour and a half, 2 hours away, so having a rival that close leave and some of the best games in Baylor football history is definitely a big loss. As much as we don't like UT, it is sad to see them go, and I would love for the game to continue maybe in the future or whatnot. But with the whole alignment and realignment and everything, I'm definitely looking forward to the new Big 12 as well.
While the rivalry is strong, Baylor fans are sad to see Texas go in this long history of matchups, but they are hoping for a memorable night right here in McLean Stadium. In Waco, Hannah Hoover, Fox 44 News.
Well, the United Auto Workers Union says its ongoing strike could get even bigger if automakers aren't willing to budge on their demands. And that could cost both the car companies and the economy a whole lot of money. Fox's Matt Napolitano has that story.
Just over a week into the United Auto Workers strike against Detroit's Big Three car makers, the walkouts have already had a massive economic impact, racking up an estimated $1.6 billion in losses. UAW expanding the work stoppage this week to more than 36 locations. Ford was spared. The union president says they've been cooperative in negotiations.
Ford is showing that they're serious about reaching a deal. At GM and Stellantis, it's a different story.
Those new walkouts include not just vehicle assembly lines, but also facilities that make auto parts, which drivers rely on to make repairs to their vehicles.
You're not buying a new car, you just need a part. So your car doesn't work. So what do you have to do? You have to rent a car to get to work. That's an example of how this costs everybody.
That strategy could prove effective. Service shops are a major source of income for dealerships, who could put even more pressure on automakers to reach a deal.
AGM, you're no good. Pay your workers.
UAW says they're prepared to ride this out for as long as it takes. Among their demands, better profit sharing, job security, and increased wages, which they say have not kept up with the massive profits made by automakers.
25 years ago, I was making $28.78 an hour. 25 years ago. Today, I make $32 an hour. Do the math on that. A $4 an hour increase in my hourly rate in 25 years.
President Biden will travel to Michigan on Tuesday to meet with striking auto workers. The visit would make him the first sitting president to join a picket line in at least a century. Matt Napolitano, Fox News.
Who helps those who are sworn to serve and protect all of us? Police officers, sheriff's deputies, 911 dispatchers, and all first responders often see the worst tragedies. On Wednesday, Fox 44 News will look into how law enforcement deals with the stress and the emotional toll that they face every day on the job. Well, there are more and more calls from both sides of the aisle for embattled New Jersey Senator Bob Menendez to step down. On Friday, Menendez was indicted on federal corruption charges. These are not the first allegations Menendez has faced. An unrelated corruption trial 6 years ago ended in a hung jury. Now, federal prosecutors say the senator was involved in a scheme to profit by enriching 3 New Jersey businessmen while protecting the government of Egypt. Fox's Alexandria Hoff has the latest from Washington.
Senator Menendez allegedly provided sensitive, non-public U.S. government information to Egyptian officials and otherwise took steps to secretly aid the government of Egypt.
A search of Senator Menendez and his wife's properties turned up gifts that they had received, hundreds of thousands of dollars in cash, some of it stuffed into jacket pockets, along with gold bars. A Mercedes was also allegedly provided to the couple. Democratic Congressman Jake Auchincloss weighed in today.
The charges levied against him are serious, and if proven true, they represent a grave violation of the public trust. Senator Menendez needs to decide in consultation with his constituents in New Jersey whether he can continue to serve ably while under this really significant cloud.
New Jersey Governor Phil Murphy is among top Democrats in the state urging Menendez to step down, stating the alleged facts are so serious that they compromise the ability of Senator Menendez to effectively represent the people of our state. Therefore, I'm calling for his immediate resignation. Senator Menendez is not interested in that, writing, "It is not lost on me how quickly some are rushing to judge a Latino and push him out of his seat. I am not going anywhere." Menendez is temporarily stepping aside as chairman of the Senate Foreign Relations Committee, but he can still serve on the panel. In Washington, Alexandria Hoff, Fox News.
Well, on Monday, Temple College is celebrating 50 years of its vocational nursing program by holding an open house. It will be from 4:30 in the afternoon until 6 at the Del Martin Nursing Education Center. The vocational nursing program launched in the fall of 1973 and graduated its first class of 14 students in August of 1974. More than 1,000 have since graduated from the program and began their careers of service. Well, officials in Georgia are warning citizens about a scam that's resurfacing, threatening to send you to jail for missing jury duty. Fox's Brittany Edney has more.
A simple phone call is costing some Georgians a lot of money. Scammers are using technology threats and tricks to convince victims they're in trouble with the law.
And a lot of times they will use the actual names of the command staff at the sheriff's office. They'll use names of my staff.
Then comes the fear.
You did not appear for jury duty. There's a warrant out for your arrest. And you need to take care of this right away.
Followed by the con.
People say, oh, well, what can I do? Well, the quickest thing you can do is go to an ATM. Here's the account number and deposit the cash. Or you can go to a local grocery store or drugstore and purchase a green dot card and give us the cash over the phone.
The U.S. District Court for the Northern District of Georgia has also received reports of these fraudulent calls and wants to provide the public with facts regarding jury duty. Firstly, the court will always send a jury summons by U.S. mail. Also, neither the court nor law enforcement will demand payment over the phone. They will never ask for gift cards or cash.
You know, if you get one of these calls, they pressure folks very hard, but just take a deep breath.
When some folks have questioned the scammers, they were met with intimidation tactics.
And they'd say, well, why don't I just go to the courthouse and take care of this? And they say, well, if you do that, you'll be arrested. And then they really kind of corner people. And you know, most folks are law-abiding and they get scared and don't know what to do.
Brittany Edney for Good Day Atlanta.
Still ahead on Fox 44, the Biden administration is doubling down on strategies to contain migration as unauthorized border crossings surge across the Southwest.
You're watching Fox 44 News Weekend with PJ Hessner, Weather 8 certified meteorologist Xavier Cologne, and sports with Parker Reed.